Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host, Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this evening. This episode is going to be our review against Fremantle, that wonderful win. It was just one for the ages. This win would go down in the memory banks for us Collingwood supporters for a long, long time. Roll the intro.
0, 1. Let's get started.
This video is brought to you by Hopper Bros Barbecue. Make sure you follow them on Instagram for all your tips and tricks and everything barbecue. Give them a follow. This is not going to be a video where I smash out the stats and this and that and whatever and give you all the technicalities and stuff like that. But there's one facet of the game that we all need to be aware of, and one facet of the game that shocks me. Fremantle won every single key statistic in this game, and to be fair, rightly so. They smashed us in the midfield. The first 12 minutes of the game of the first quarter, we barely were able to get our hands on the ball. The fact that at quarter time, it was neck and neck, and then we slowly pushed away with them still challenging us all the way into the last quarter was just fantastic. The way that we fought this game out was just one for the ages, like I said in the intro. Now, they won every key statistic. Inside 50s, clearances, disposal efficiency, contested possession. If you look at these stats of the game and you see the whole broader picture, it is a clear indication. If you hadn't have watched the game and didn't know the final scores, you would look at that and think Fremantle smashed them. The fact that we were able to win this game, which really 14 points did Fremantle some serious justice. It sort of, in that sense, it reminded me so much of the Carlton game where we only won by 17. We were 24 or something up or whatever it was with a minute or so to go. That part there is a little bit disappointing when you look back on that. But this game, we won by less. But you look at it, and this is as good as a 100-point win against the top side. This win, the gutsy performance, it reminded me, and I said it on my Instagram page. If you haven't, please also follow me on Instagram. We've hit 400 followers on Instagram. Thank you to everybody. This win reminded me so much of the backs against the wall, and a little bit self-inflicted this one, but backs against the wall, the dirty pies, that 2020 elimination final against West Coast where we flew over and they didn't let us train. They were basically going to put us in a caravan, and it was get to the game, play, and piss off back home to Melbourne or piss off back to your hub or whatever it was, so I couldn't be in Melbourne. So you look back on it, we had to rest these players. We had to manage these players. One of them was obviously forced, but credit to the guys that came in the side. I mean, Jeremy Howe didn't have a spectacular game, I thought anyway, but did his job well. Oleg Markov didn't really get enough game time, so you can't really judge him. But, he was there when we needed him no matter what. And then also, I don't know what's going on here, but okay. And then also, on top of all that, Ed Allen's come in and he's had a pretty decent game. So I'm quite happy with the way that we obviously performed with our guys that obviously had come in. Sullivan was fantastic. That one-handed mark was just awesome. His pressure was phenomenal. His tackling was great. It's going to be hard for him to obviously be taken out of the side, but then with someone like Jordan De Goey, who's probably going to play against Adelaide next week, you've got to worry about that also. Now, moving forward in this game just, as I said, reminded me of that West Coast final. People were obviously, I tipped us, people were tipping us, but at the same time, it was a massive danger game. Now, if you had said to me, you're going to lose one out of the Geelong game or the Freo game with a 5-day turnaround, I would have said we probably would lose the Freo game, travelling over there. But watching Freo the week before against St Kilda, I was pretty confident that we're obviously going to get the win. And I was glad, and I'm so happy that we played against another side that challenged us. We played against a side that asked us questions and said, we're going to do this, right? And I'm going to use the David King analogy. Are you coming with me? What are you going to do to challenge us? And we basically said, shut the gates. This is what we're going to do. It was one of those games where I felt like if we hit the front, we were going to obviously roll on with it. But what was even better was the fact that we hit the front and these guys hit the front again. And they kept challenging us, and they kept going and going and going. And we were like, hang on a second, we've got this. We forced them to have so many turnovers. There were so many times they would turn the ball over coming out of their defensive 50, and we were able to obviously grab the ball and move it forward. There's a couple of other key points I'm going to talk about now as well. Our goal kicking wasn't too bad. We did miss a couple of easy chances on goal. I mean, Jamie Elliott kicked 6, so you can't fault him. Yeah, he missed the easy one sort of closer in, which again, it's the key times. Like, we know that we're going to miss opportunities in goal, in front of goal, but sometimes they happen at key times. Obviously, last week was the Myercheck side bottom against the Dogs. It was, DeGoey, Elliott, and Myercheck also, and McStay. And then you've also got then against Geelong last week, you had side bottom and Myercheck, missed those. So I already said that. And then Carlton, we had obviously Lockie Schultz and some other guys miss some key goals at key moments. You've got to accept, and I've accepted it, we're going to miss opportunities where, hey, you probably should put them away, and then we're going to kick the Dazzlers on the boundary line and stuff like that. That's footy. It happens, yeah? But my biggest issue was obviously the one where Bobby Hill's done everything right, and he's taken that mark and he's intercepted it 35 metres out directly in front of goal. Now, I accept that sometimes those things are going to be missed 100%. Yeah, you know that, we're not always going to kick every single one. And Fremantle missed a couple of easy shots as well, which would have really put us on the back burner. However, it's the moments of the game when it happens. If we're 50 points up and he does that and he misses, it's like whatever. But that was a goal where I thought, geez, if he had to kick that one, right, that would have put us close. I think off the top of my head, I think it was like 20-something points up. There's no couple of quick goals for Fremantle later on during the game because we've brought their heads down a little bit and their confidence is shot, and they're going to have to work 10 times harder. And then we obviously go back and score in the last quarter and swings and roundabouts and whatever. So hopefully we can obviously just get those easy ones when they mark directly in front of goal, and we can put them away at those certain times at least. That's the most important thing. Nevertheless, Jamie Elliott, fantastic. Bobby Hill, fantastic. The one player, and I'm so shattered he's not going to play next week, is Lockie Schultz. That play that he did where he was able to, when Fremantle were on, and it was a momentum swinger, where he was able to tackle, I forgot who it was, where he was able to tackle that Fremantle, I think it might have been Swikowski, I can't remember, and he was able to tackle him and then force his kick wide, which then allowed our defenders to swing it out, and then he then ran all the way to the forward line, and he was the one that got the ball and set it up, and then we're able to score a goal. That was just next level stuff. And I've said this before in my lives, and I've said it on Pies Footy and to Anthony, I've said it to other people as well. Lockie Schultz reminds me, when he's doing that forward line pressure, not so much in defence, but still it's great. When he's applying that manic pressure in the forward line, he reminds me of a modern day Paul Medhurst. And it's just like probably even better. And, it took him the whole season, and I was critical of him when he started, but, going through premiership hangover, injuries, moving the magnets, we're asking more of him, all this type of stuff. I love the way he's gone about it this year. He had such a good block at the start of the season. Obviously, he got injured. He's come back. He wasn't electrifying against Geelong, but did his job as best as he could. In this game, mate, he was one of our best players by a country mile. Right? And we had some stars that did nothing. And you know what? Credit to Fremantle for that. And we're going to be challenged no matter what happens throughout the year. But the way that we handled this, and there was an analogy used on Fox Footy after the Sydney game where they said Fly plays chess and the Sydney coach was playing checkers, and we got him. Now, in this game, it was a carbon copy of that. He had this game mastermind 3 weeks ago on what he was going to do. And they set it out and they stuck to their guns and they did it, and it looked amazing. At the start of the game, I'm not going to lie, I was shitting bricks a little bit. I was thinking, oh my God, like not this now. And then Fremantle obviously came back. But even when they came back and they hit the front throughout the game, I was relaxed. I knew we're going to answer this challenge. I didn't want to lose 2 games in a row, because if you lose 2 games in a row, that really puts us like down sort of like that 4th, 5th, 6th sort of area, and we're better than that. We know we're better than that. We know we're a top 2 side, right? On paper at least, and we're showing it, which is fantastic. Another player that I want to talk about too was Harry Perryman. I mean, if there was ever a reincarnation of a modern day James Clement in this game, this was it. His defensive work was fantastic. Running out of defense, throw him in the midfield if you needed to. It was just, I think he got, top of my head, I don't know, I think it was 15, 16 possessions or whatever it was. but he was just doing the right thing at the right time. Yeah, he got that tackle holding the ball against him or whatever. It's stiff not to get a free kick for holding the man, but we were able to do what we needed to do with him, and it was fantastic. Membry, great game for Collingwood. Hustle, bustle. Got caught out a few times. Could not believe that tackle against Pearce wasn't paid holding the ball, where he's dropped the ball on the ground, picked it up, and hand passed it off. I mean, right in front of the umpire. Even Membry stopped, turned around, looked, and was like, what was going on there? But it is what it is. Another player I want to mention, Bo McCreary's pressure was fantastic. He got a fair bit of the ball. Don't know his possession stats and stuff like that. Don't really care. He was very effective with the ball, which was great. The other one I'm going to mention, obviously, I can mention the whole side, man. Seriously, just the way they, even though none of them, like a lot of them, sorry, didn't have breakout games, amazing games. Houston had butterfingers throughout the whole time, but then when he got the ball and he did something, apart from that turnover in the first quarter, he actually looked really great. I think he only got 12, 13 disposals or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So we had players. The good part about this was that we had players that didn't have a blinder, and we still performed the way that we did. And that is the sign of a good side that is going to go deep into finals if we continue this trend. It's a long season, and that's why you got to trust in Fly. That wasn't meant to rhyme, but you got to trust in Fly, because he's going to move the magnets, and he's going to, and Jared Wade as well. They're going to position us right for the end of the season. We may drop games in between there. We may drop games, and this was one of them that we could have dropped, and we risked dropping, but we didn't. And that's why when the siren went, you saw the players, how happy they were. One player I want to talk about, because I could talk about them all, but I want to say this. Billy Frampton, take a bow. Mate, I know it's sad because Reef's done his knee, and you weren't sort of getting a look in and stuff like that, but he has come into that side, and his intercept marking, he's defending. The last 3-4 games have been phenomenal. Since, and I've said this before in other videos, since halftime of the Carlton game, he has barely put a foot wrong. And credit to him, because right now he is a certain starter in our team, regardless of who comes back and whatnot. You are not taking Billy Frampton out of that back line. I could go on for ages. I could talk about other moments in the game and all this type of stuff, but my man of the match personally in this game is Darcy Cameron. I know there could be other players that we say that were better and whatever, but I just think Darcy Cameron in this game was fantastic. His intercept defending as well, geez. And it just helps when Mason Cox is playing in the side. I know he didn't have a great game, and he kicked a goal, which is great. He'll hold his spot in the side for a little while still. But it just allows Cameron to do what he does, and that's what I've been preaching now for the last 6 weeks. Excuse me, I reckon 6 weeks. Like, if you want Darcy Cameron to have a great game like that, you've got to have Cox in the side to help him out. He doesn't have to do much, Mason. He can kick a couple of goals as a bonus, brings the ball to ground. He had a couple of really good hand passes. Cox was part of a lot of chain links towards goal. And, it's a good team effort. We flew out there, 5-day break. You really can't ask for much more. And we subbed Sidebottom, who had next to no impact in the game at all. So we technically managed another old player or experience. And that's another thing too I want to talk about quickly before I sign off, and you all can go to bed with another smile on your face. We were the oldest side ever. We were just told that we were old, we were slow, cane cords, the Pies won't make the finals. Then today, SEN. Oh, the Pies are going to make the finals. This is the hallmark trait of a great side. Shut up, there. Fuck. Sorry, I'm swearing. But, he's just, the narrative's changed all of a sudden now. It's like, can't you see? Age doesn't matter if you get managed, but later on in a couple of years, these guys, obviously it will matter. But right now, we are being managed perfectly, and it's so good to see. And it's just now we've got guys that are going to come back into the side too. And at this moment in time, we're sitting on top of the ladder. We'll probably finish the week second, unless Hawthorn beat Melbourne by 100 points. We'll drop to third, but we'll pretty much be equal top. And, or equal second, because Brisbane will win. But we should just be happy and just enjoy what we're, I don't want to use the word cooking because the scum use that, but what we are building and what we are managing to go towards is fantastic. So I'm going to leave it there. I could ramble on this for ages, but it's just so good to see. Make sure you visit our sponsors, because without our sponsors, this channel wouldn't be where it's at the moment. We're almost at 900 subscribers, and if you had said that to me 6 months ago, 7 months ago when I started this channel, I would have laughed. But you guys mean a hell of a lot to me, and I enjoy doing these videos so much. Before we sign off, also, just want to say a happy Mother's Day to all the Collingwood mums out there. I want to say happy Mother's Day to my mum. I know she watches my videos from time to time. I want to say happy Mother's Day to my wife. Without your support, then I couldn't do this. I know I'm a ball breaker at times, but I love doing this, and your support is fantastic, and I love everything about you and what you do for our kids. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you tell me what you think about this game, because I'm so excited to see what you guys have to say. Call it as you see it, and as always, go the Pies.